Hi guys, it's Magdalena from LTSPWedPhotoQ&A and welcome to another episode of this wedding photography Q&A video series. And today we're talking all about group shots. You love them, right? Yes. Well, you know, most wedding photographers have a very love and hate relationship with group shots, and a lot of wedding photographers nowadays also exclude them. They don't want to do them anymore. However, there are still obviously loads of couples who do appreciate the group shots, or at least, you know, the family of the couple want a few here and there. But normally, like the couples that I work with, we have a quick list. We run through them quickly. They're not extensive. We're not spending hours and hours. Like, who wants to spend hours on group shots anymore? But obviously you need to know how to do your group shots, how to work with your couple, how to work with the guests. And yeah, once you have confidence in it, it's an easy piece of a cake, or however you're saying in English. Let's get started then. I think instead of me answering that question though, I'm gonna get Winston Sanders of Winston Sanders Photography to answer that question for you. I went recently to the Isle of Skye in Scotland and met up with eight other wedding photographers from all over the country. And we had a brilliant week up there, and we just, chatted, brainstormed, and really just, talked business, had some fun. We were shooting with a couple over there in the lovely, breathtaking views. So it was a perfect week. And obviously I had the pool of wedding photographers for your questions. So I definitely, over the next few weeks, I have lined up interviews with all of them. So Winston Sanders from Winston Sanders Photography. He's based in Norwich in the UK, but he is originally from Cambridge. And his history in photography goes all the way back to when he was a kid and started with the film SLR, the analog one. Remember those days? I'm just recently getting back into that. Anyways, Winston started his wedding photography business a few years ago, and I just thought he's an award-winning wedding photographer, so I thought that's a perfect person to answer this question for you. Here it is. Oh, here he is. Enjoy. See you afterwards.
Hi everyone, I'm Winston from Winston Sanders Photography here on the beautiful Isle of Skye in Bonnie, Scotland. It's good to have you here today. We're going to talk about photographers' favourite thing about weddings, group shots. You love them, right? Yeah, most photographers don't really enjoy group shots, and some people can find it stressful, and it can be stressful, but there's some things you can do to make it less stressful, definitely. And one of the biggest things you can do is prepare beforehand. On your wedding photography form, what I'd recommend to do is to encourage people not to have too many group shots. Because as you can imagine, if you've not already shot a wedding, loads and loads of groups, lots of people drinking, wanting to talk straight after the ceremony, they're spreading out everywhere, and you can imagine it could be carnage. So the most simple thing you can do is encourage people not to do too many. Ultimately, I let the bride and groom decide how many to do, because it's their wedding. And they might have lots of university friends, they might have school friends they want shots with, they might have work friends they want shots with, and ultimately if that's what they really want, it's their wedding, so do that. However, I'd say for me, I like to do maybe 6 to 8 group shots is perfect, and with 6 to 8 you can cover normally what most people want. So actually on my form I even say which group shots I'd recommend they do. I'd say you don't have to follow you don't have to do these group shots, but I found they've worked in the past. It's up to you if you want to change it. So my group shots are everyone all together, which is always fun. This is important too. Another top tip is to start big and go small. So get everyone together, normally after the confetti, but might not be. You've got everyone all in one place, you do the big group shot, and then I'm skipping ahead now talking about actually on the day. I'll go back to preparation in a sec, but whilst we're on this point, let's stick with it. So you've got everyone all together, big group shot, then go next smallest group down, so another big one. I normally send away all the friends at that point and say, if you're related to the bride and groom, stay where you are, bear with me. We're going to do the whole of the bride's family first, so if the groom's family could just wait over here a sec. And then we go smaller then, so say you've got the whole of the bride's family, then we're going to send off people like aunties and uncles and cousins that they maybe don't see so often, and just get the core unit of the family, maybe their parents, siblings, and then you've got the groomsman shot and the bridesmaid shot. and that's maybe about seven shots. So that's what I'd recommend, and people can, you know, say what they really want to do. You might tweak it. Okay, so we've got prepare, and you've prepared the list. They've prepared the list. They've edited the list you suggested. One other massive, probably the most important thing of all actually, with group shots, the most important thing to do is delegate. Use the best man. Use whoever's got a big voice. They know who it is, and get them to organise everyone. It's too much for you to try and take the photos and organise all these people who've had their first champagne after not eating for ages and already feeling a bit tipsy. So on your form, ask the couple, who do you recommend that could help me out with this? Who's got a big voice? Who knows a lot of people? Who enjoys being organised and bossing people about? You don't want to be that bossy photographer that everyone hates. Everyone's been to a wedding where there's a photographer who shouts at everyone and bosses people about. Give someone else that job. You just do the fun bit of taking the photos. Get someone else to organise people. You don't need to have an assistant. If you've got an assistant, that's great, but they don't know who everyone is. So even better, use the best man, get them to actually do more than their dreaded speech and do something else too. And yeah, ask the couples who's the best person for this. Once you know who that person is, ask the couples, could you print off the list of group shots and give it to them? So they're prepared and they've got the sheet ready on the day. Even better still, when you print off your list of group shots to do for the day, print off another copy so you can give it to them in case the bride and groom have forgotten, because they've got too much to think about already anyway, so they probably forget. So they've got a sheet. Give them a pen, get them to mark off the list as you go, because even after 3 shots I've forgotten who we've done because I'm so busy concentrating on the photos. So really delegate that horrible job that you don't want to someone else who probably do it better than you. Let's go through now just a few kind of technical-ish camera things for taking group shots. The most flattering lens you could use for a group shot is the longest lens you've got. So if you've got like a 70 to 200 lens, yeah, they're great for group shots if you've got the space, if you can back up far enough. Of course, it's not practically possible. I've shot group shots with 35mm prime or even wider. Sometimes you need to go mega wide just to fit everyone in and you're in a small space. But in terms of the people on the edges of the group shot, if you've got a longer lens, they're not going to look as wide. So the longest lens you've got is brilliant. If you've got an 85 and you can get everyone in, 85mm lens, that would be fantastic. I found at the moment I'm liking my 50mm prime for group shots because you can work in quite a small space, but it's still quite flattering. But you can go wider if you have to. Don't sweat it too much. Groups, if you can fit everyone on a single row, perfect. If you have to do, it's raining a bit here in the Isle of Skye now, never mind. If you have to do 2 layers of people, so be it. And the second row, obviously their faces will go in between the faces on the front row. Obviously try and get everyone's face in. Sometimes you've got a huge group and you know, you don't want to spend ages and ages and ages on the groups. This is really important because people get bored and fed up. So just do your very best to get everyone there. Some photographers care about what everyone's hands are doing. They want everyone to be uniform. I tend to just let them do their thing. Preferably not sunlight straight on because people are squinting and doing this and looking horrible. And it's horrible lighting. Yeah, I'm sure you know, lighting on people's faces when sunlight's dead on, it's a nightmare. I mean, I've done it. Sometimes you have to. You just have to deal with it, but preferably not if you can avoid it. So in the shade or sun behind them or indoors, maybe there's some flashes going off too, some fill light. Okay, so I'm rambling on about technical stuff. I've got another top tip for you guys. Take loads of photos. And by that, I don't mean take ages taking the photos. Burst mode, bang, 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 bang. In a few seconds, you can get loads of frames of all the groups. And obviously, if you've got a bigger group, bigger chance of someone blinking or pulling a weird face. So take loads and loads of shots. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, pray to the photography gods, you've got at least one shot where everyone's got their eyes open. Very important. If not, you might have to do some face swapping, but in Photoshop. But if you take, you know, within 2 or 3 seconds, you can take 10 shots. And you just go through each shot until you've got someone with all their eyes open. And unless someone's looking horrendous, you know, normally that's the shot. Move on. onto your next group shot. You don't have to take too long. I normally tell people, you know, allow maybe half an hour if you've got about 6 to 8 group shots, and normally that's fine. Often then couples want to go straight into the portrait shots, but it's not necessarily a great time if they're tired of smiling. I wouldn't rush straight into that. Give them some time to chat. They've just got married, have a drink and relax a bit before you do any more shots is what I'd recommend. But that's for another video. Okay, I think I'm out of tips. I hope that's helpful. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video, and hope you've enjoyed this beautiful scenery behind me on the beautiful Isle of Skye. See you later.
So thank you so much, Winston, for this brilliant interview with me, and standing in the little bit of rain with a beautiful backdrop though of the Isle of Skye. That was perfect, and I really can't thank you enough to answer those questions for you. I hope it was helpful for you guys out there to really get your group shots and get the confidence in group shots. It's all about preparation, really, isn't it? Thank you so much again. If you have any other questions that you're thinking about, you're struggling with something, when you're just starting out, you have tons of questions. So please hit me up. I would love to hear from you and have those questions, or answer those questions for you, interview other wedding photographers for you as well. I think that's a perfect way to also see other approaches of other wedding photographers, because really, quite frankly, there is no right or wrong way how to deal with things. It's just all about finding your way, finding your style, finding your confidence. And I think that's what I'm trying to do with this video series, to just show you all the different approaches out there with interviewing all these different people, and then also obviously throwing in my kind of approach in there in the mix. Please drop me a line. There's a dedicated question link somewhere where you can go to. It leads you to my website, and there's a little field of like a contact form kind of thing where you can leave your question. It would really mean the world to me if we can keep this video series going and attract some other aspiring wedding photographers, and I can help you all with answering any questions that you might have regarding wedding photography. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, share the love. I would love to hear from you, and I will see you hopefully next time. Bye.
Hello, 1, 2, 3. I like to dance. This is Winston from Winston Sanders Photography, reporting on the Isle of Skye. I've lost it. Oh no.
On the Isle of Skye, which was perfect.
And they all laugh. Snap, snap, snap.
It's a little pineapple.
Thank you and good night.